Hi YouTube, how you doing? I'm okay. I'm pretty warm. It's so humid here today. It's one of them days I was telling you about that feels tropical in Minnesota. It's always amazing to me how it can go from a few months ago. Well, we didn't get the really cold weather and all the snow we usually get, but it'll go like from 50 below um, to 100+ degrees plus humidity. It's like, it's amazing. It's amazing how the bugs can freeze solid and come back to life, or some of them lay eggs, or how frogs go in the mud and they cover themselves up with leaves, and they they're up by the shoreline, and they make a little bubble by the shore out of those leaves and mud, and they stay in there all winter long, and then they emerge in the spring and um, have babies and that type of thing. So yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. There's even in frogs, there's a bullfrog and a female frog and babies, like normal things on this planet. I'm convinced if there's anything out of the realm of abnormal, unless you're like an insect, but mammals have one of each gender, not three genders. So, yeah, just for the record, some people just don't know that. Cheers, everybody. Maybe on some other world there's a trigender something something, but I haven't personally experienced and hope to never experience anything like that. So, cheers to you. Do you want to be a conglomeration of something, or do you like being your individual self? I like being a woman. I don't want to be a conglomeration of anything that resembles the Baphomet image that is celebrated for people's freedom and sexuality on this planet during their learning curve. They curved way up the fucking planet. Anyway, excuse me. Cheers. Excuse me. Jeez. People. Some people's children. So, anyway. Yeah, I should talk about some people's children, right? Oh, anyway. Yeah, so I woke up just like roasting, even early this morning when it said it was like 76 degrees outside. It felt like it was already 100. Doug got up, he's like, feels like a sauna. And then he repeated it, and I'm like, well, yeah, it does. Yeah. Try combing out half curly, wavy hair with the humidity and see how that goes for you. I was going to put it on top of my head and let all my curls like fall down. And I thought, nah, because if I put it up like that, what's underneath will start kind of curling, and then I'll have more knots in it than I did before I started. So I'm really hesitant of doing things with my hair because it gets a little crazy. So I don't know. It's not too crazy right now, but it's pretty crazy. And each little tiny curl is about that big around, and it'll make bigger curls or when they go together. And so yeah, it's not like super curly. If my hair was short, it just looks sort of wavy. But underneath I've got like curly stuff. Not so much on the sides or in the front, but yeah. Anyway, I just I don't know. I feel like Okay, there's people. Oh, I wanted to address something. There's somebody that thinks that Martin Luther was a good guy and Abraham Lincoln was a good guy. Let's start with Abraham Lincoln. The Emancipation Proclamation was created by Abraham Lincoln to free the slaves so they could join the army and go up north and wipe out the Plains Indians. Not such a good guy, but he appeared to be to all the unsuspecting white people or other nationalities that had no clue what he was doing. So there's old Abe for you, part of the government, of course, part of the dark cabal, like all of them. And then Martin Luther Sr. was. Now, if you're talking about Junior, that's a little bit different, but Martin Luther Sr. was a Freemason. That should say it all right there. Who they worship, who their family worships. So I don't know if people are aware of that, just like they're not aware of the name and gender changes in the scriptures, um, applying to certain entities who you pray to. Why do you think Satan has such a deep insight on what you're doing? Yeah, because you're talking right to him. That's why, you know. I'm serious. I'm out to prove that through language, and I will. So, anyway, so some people just don't know what's going on. The point is, control over the whole world is what the dark force wants. And right now, it's doing a really good job because of people's ongoing ignorance, not standing up for their friends when they should. And if they're not going to do it now, they're never going to do it. If you have friends and family that won't stop and say, hey, this is the way it is, regardless of whose feelings get hurt, then they're not worth your time. You have to know when to cut the strings or let go of the hand that's not serving you. If you can't serve each other, it's not a mutual thing and that's not respected, let it go. That's my best advice for everybody, you know. If you're young and you're encountering relationships that'll potentially be romantic, if at any time, I mean, if they defend you when you're in the wrong, you don't want that either. But if they can't defend you as a good person, you definitely don't want that, you know. So it doesn't matter if it's even in your own family. If you have family members that won't say, hey, when something's not right, then, anyway. And I got, what is it? Don Henley's song, That's Just the Way It Is. Some things will never change. But he goes, but don't you believe it? You know, I believe they will change, but it's going to take a lot stronger, a lot more strength within human beings, and letting go some of their pride and their ego, and letting go some of the ego and pride in other people, whether they like it or not. It's like if you're being a ass and it's affecting somebody else, I'm going to be the first one to point it out. And I used to try and pull people aside and not lay them out to dry in front of the whole world. But now it's not like that anymore because they can hurt you or I in front of the whole world, but What, you're not supposed to expose them to the whole world that they trashed you to? Yeah, no, no, it's exposure time. Do you remember uh, Alaskan show called Total Exposure? It was pretty weird. There was another Alaskan show, I think it was Alaskan, called Twin Peaks. It was like a nighttime soap opera thing. That was also very strange. I don't know, I guess I'm just thinking of strange things today because my life is like Stranger Things. I've never watched none of that, but I guess I have never watched Netflix. I have no desire to ever sign up for Netflix or, there's so much to watch, like on YouTube, even with movies and stuff for free. Who cares about a 60-second commercial? 3 seconds into it, you can skip ahead and it's free. Who cares? You know, that's how I feel. I was watching a pretty good show last night. I'm going to let you know. Oh, maybe. I don't know. I might as well. Nah. If I try and pull it up, it took me 3 times to even get my camera going today. It sat there and it's, well, you timed out. Here, you might need an error code. And I'm like, no, no, thank you. Just work, will you? you know, do it right, damn it. I watched In the Kitchen with Tally Faye yesterday. She made a strawberry pie. She had made a crust, and you can probably buy one. You could like buy it pre-baked, I think even, but you can buy like the Pillsbury ones. But pie crusts are pretty easy to make. Then you take a pound of strawberries, or like a large 16-ounce container, clean them and slice them up, and then in a pot of water you take a cup and a half of water, and in a pot of water, yeah, in a pot you put a cup and a half of water, cup of sugar, and 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, and boil it until it's getting clear. Then you put a pack of strawberry jello in there. After you put your strawberries in your baked pie crust, it's a refrigerator pie. Then you pour your liquid that you just made in there, um, after you dissolve the gelatin in there really good, and let it go in the refrigerator and get really cold. And then you put like whipped cream or Cool Whip on top of that. Oh, it looked wonderful. But I don't know. I would stay away from the grease of the pie crust, and I go with my favorite. I take like an angel food cake mix or an angel food cake if you're making it by um, scratch. Uh, but anyway, take angel food cake after it's done and slice it up and put it in the bottom of cake pan, like a 13 by 9. Then you get this Danish dessert called junket. It's a cross between a gelatin and a pudding, almost like what Tally Faye made, only it's an actual thing that comes from Denmark. And it's in the grocery stores right by the jello. It's called junket, Junkette, junket. And you could get like think there's raspberry and lemon and different flavors of this Danish pudding. And then you take your strawberries and you put them on your um, cake. You clean them, slice them, line them on your cake in there. Then you make the junket according to the directions. Pour it over your cake and strawberries. And after that gets cold and you slice it, then you put your whipped cream on there. Oh, that's like if you can say something's better than strawberry shortcake, that's the recipe. That's way better. If you look up, it's probably online. If you look up junket cake, wow. That's I think that might be my number one summertime dessert, as far as refreshing and cool at the end of the day. Everything's cold, and then you don't have the grease. There's no grease in an angel food cake. You don't even put grease in your pan when you cook it, um, at all. It's the lowest fat cake you can ever encounter is angel food because it has no yolk and it's all egg whites. So, but yeah, it's wonderful. I didn't really have a topic today. Pretty much my heart's sad because of, and it's probably not going to get fixed. But I mean, I'm still happy inside, but there's just so much sorrow around me. Um and it isn't just me, it's other people, but the other people, they're pretending it's not there, and they're pretending like everything's hunky dory and rosy, and you know even when it's not. you know they might feel like crying, but they're gonna act the fool and keep playing like everything's just fine, everything's gonna be fine, the world's just fine the way it is, all this, and it's just not. It's pretty horrible in general. you know it's like learning Greek from a Satanist. Who fucking cares? Really. I mean, barely a Christian is even going to talk to me out here, but they say they have the Christ spirit in them, and but yet, that same spirit that's in me is saying, "Wow, they don't want to talk to you because out of embarrassment or their image or their ego or just flat out being cruel or whatever they're doing." You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, you got an image to maintain. Good job. Who are you trying to impress? You know, Let me impress something upon you. Yeah. Anyway, do you love me, baby? Mm. I was singing or listening to um some Hispanic music this morning, like um Gloria Esteban and Paula Abdul. I was just humming straight up. Now tell me, do you really want to love me forever? Oh, oh, oh. Or you caught in a hit and run, you know. So, are you just having fun? I like the part where it goes, I've been a fool before, don't want to get my love caught in the slamming door. How about some information, please? Please, please, please. you know, if you know the song. So, she has a really good one I didn't listen to, but I used to all the time, and you probably know it or not. I don't know, but opposites attract. And she's dancing with, she's a tap dancer and ballet. She's dancing to Looney Tunes character. I can't remember which one it was, um, or characters, um, if I remember right. Yeah, I almost listened to that one, and then I almost listened to some Janet Jackson, but nah, I wasn't too much in the mood. Yeah. I was sending my songs through to Doug. He's sending his songs through to me. He sent Coldplay's Sky Full of Stars, Bittersweet Sympathy from Symphony by The Verb, and maybe Holding Back the Tears by Simply Red. Not sure. A few of them anyway. Oh, but I just thought it was funny. I'm sending my music through. He's sending his through, you know. And he told me to have a good day because I was somewhat crabby, but not just for no reason, but whatever, you know. I have rose bushes and a cranberry bush dying because I'm wasn't and am not. I hope to be feeling well enough to be able to saw down some stuff that's in their way that is killing them, or they just got covered over on purpose, and I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, it's important to me. I worked really hard just putting stuff in to make it look nice, and um, especially my pink roses mean a lot to me. They really do. Try and grow a rose sometime and see. I mean, sometimes people are good at it. I'm pretty good at it if they don't get covered up when they're trying to grow. I have some that survive, but you know, I'm gonna have to move them. Wish me luck. I need some extra strength from somewhere. Got any I can borrow? You know, no. I mean, like today, I got my exercises done, but it was all I could do to even eat anything last night. I had taken the rest of that turkey though, and I steamed it off the bones and got the bones out of it and skin and all that, and chopped it up and made a little extra gravy and threw it back in there. So all I had to do at supper time was to take my gravy and put it on a little stuffing and potatoes, and my cranberry sauce turned out great. I had a big scoop of that. That's really what I wanted most. I think that's what I probably needed most, maybe the vitamin C in it. Wouldn't doubt it. So I have to be really careful with that though, because it can be deadly to me. C can. So I'm allergic to zinc and copper, all kinds of things that are in vitamins normally and typically. Or people will take like zinc or things for colds that I can't have and all kinds of stuff. So, like vitamin C, they're like, well, take C, and no, that's not good advice. Not everybody can overload on C, you know. It's like these people that are overloaded with the big C spirit, got this Christ spirit in you, but you're cold hearted to people. Wow, you're so Christ like. Yeah, actually, you are. You just don't know um, who carries the Christ spirit on this planet. That, yeah, whatever. People, I mean, unless people are actually willing to study deeper than what they do, you cannot learn what another culture was from our culture. We can't learn what was being represented in our language. You'll never get the truth if you don't want it. I mean, and you just want to stay right there. That's probably okay, you know. But I like to dive deep when I'm swimming in or going into these rabbit holes. And yeah, and when I recognize It's just this cold-hearted bullshit with people, you know. I mean, some people, I mean, they try to open up and they try to show their more softer side to the world, but seems really difficult for them for some reason. I don't know. I don't get it. I do not can get you like that, and it's probably a good thing. Anyway, I don't buy the excuses with people that um like like they've been hurt so bad in the past that they were so traumatized and that's why they're cold and ignorant and stupid. Some people, and I'm going to say it like it is, I don't recommend that anybody or everybody on this planet be hurt because yeah, it is what drove a lot of insanity, but some people have not had their ass beat and they fucking need a good ass whooping. That's my opinion. That kind of has a way of taking the stupid right out of you. Yeah. No, you can say you've been beat, but you might not been beat enough. I think that attributes to me not being very stupid, you know. Surely wasn't by love because these people that say that they're loving and they have God in their hearts have been the worst people to me all of my life. So what does that tell me? I mean, that doesn't tell me there is no God and I don't love God or I don't feel the Christ spirit in me. No, they'll never take that away from me, no matter what. And this is all a big show just to deceive people. That's what a lot of it is chaos and confusion. Every single religion, nothing's been untouched. So where do you go? Where do you go if you don't have nowhere to go? Oh shit. Anyway, I'm putting some calamine on an itchy spot. The other day when I went out, a couple different times I got attacked by mosquitoes and yeah, they've been wicked with all this moisture that we have. And I took all the stuff from the turkey I had and a bunch of like extra meat and took it out to the kitties outside. And this morning when I looked out, I had the black one I call Puma and her daughter I call Georgette, a pure white one. Almost, she's got a little gold on top her head and gold eyes, and she's really little kitten. I mean, cat. She's not a big cat, just tiny, a tiny cat. And those two, I look out, I go, well, there's Puma. And then Georgette comes sneaking out where I could see her. Yeah, cute. Just a show of appreciation. Sometimes that's all people need is one little tiny show of appreciation. Sometimes they think they deserve it and they don't. And you are not going to get it unless you do. Not from me. And that was for somebody in particular. Yeah. Somebody that thinks that they've done enough work and there's so much more to do and I can't do it alone. Those type of people. you know. Does anybody like cabana music? I do. I think it would be so cool to go to like around Panama and South America and, you know, visit. I always wanted to go to Brazil. I think I'd have to go to Panama and Argentina first to get there if I was taking a ship across the canal. That's probably what I would do. I don't think I would fly in if I ever do. Maybe someday. I don't know. I just like to go to the Andes someday. Maybe. Who knows what I'm going to do if I'm still here when I'm 90. I don't see myself um, like other people just expiring in some kind of care home or something. I just don't see that for myself, you know. Maybe I'll die on a bus traveling. Who knows, you know. Just take buses a lot. It's not bad if you have the funds where you can stop and stay like, a night or two or a week somewhere. Or train. Really, trains are my favorite mode of travel. And I've always thought about taking I think it's called, well, it's an Amtrak line that runs through Canada. Um, I can't remember what it's called, the Canadian something, of course, but it's like Northwest Territory line or something. I'd like to go up by, maybe by Vancouver and BC up in there. So I was just thinking about my initials in my life, excluding the ones that I was born with. Um, KMS. um, and then BSC, and then BSH, and then BSL, and now BSW. It's funny, huh? I was BC most of my childhood, before Christ. Yeah, anyway. Hope you're all having a good day. Like I say, my heart's a little sad for multiple reasons. I mean, it just isn't the murdering of my plants or anything. But that doesn't help. you know, I went out to look at my roses yesterday. I have one outside my window here that's coming up in a container that I have, but where I had them, it was a big bush of them, and about this time of year, and this one's going to bloom pretty soon. And I don't want to pick it because it's the only one that's almost in bloom. And my other ones, a lot of them got covered up, and they don't, well, some of them are there, but they don't seem to want to bloom right now because there's a big bush over them that's ingrown. But I went out to see if I could get some of my roses to bring in to show you. If they do bloom, I'll bring them in. I'll be happy. But I am going to move some more of that bush. It's just finding the right spot to put it where it's going to survive and not get murdered. And Just a lot of things wrong that people aren't recognizing, and I can't make things right alone. But and that's frustrating because I think, okay, if they don't recognize it, why? Or if they do recognize it, why are they ignoring the fact? Um, what's it going to gain somebody to ignore reality and continue with the farce and the lies in this world when we want to face everything? Who's afraid that you're going to lose God in your heart for any reason? If that's a fear of yours, He's not there to begin with, you know? If you're afraid of losing, like if I was afraid of losing Doug for speaking my mind or making friends out here with all the kindness and love in my heart, somebody should just poke a freaking butter knife in my head. That's the value of how I look at people when they're seclusive like that, keeping their intelligence and their thoughts and their um, reality at bay, you know. Anybody throw knives? Yeah, I think it's fun. I do. I know. I watch a preacher who's well, his son sort of took over his 'cause he's getting older, took over his ministry, but the door, Michael Pearl at the door here on YouTube, he won championships. He makes his own axes and knives, and he won axe throwing championships. And he'll like get up there and he'll take his hatchet and just stick it into one of his logs that he's got in his house, in his like, I think it's in his basement or his shop or something, you know. But it's pretty funny. I was up on a mountain alone with my kids one time, got left there, and it was scary. And this guy come up there, and I know he wasn't thinking right things. And I took my drywall hatchet. He's watching me, and I took it and I just threw it at a tree in front of me, and I was looking at him like he was the tree, and I stuck it just his height in the tree, and he got in his vehicle and he left. For some reason, I have no clue what put fear in him, but that's what he got for putting fear in me. That's all I know. And drywall hammers are the same thing as a hatchet. It's actually got a hatchet edge with a little notch in it where you can take your hand and use it as leverage and pull a nail out of your rock, your board, if you have to. And then it's got the other side that's a hammer. So you have a hatchet, a hammer, and a nail release all in one tool. It's called a drywall hammer. Well, there's actual drywall hammers just for sinking the nails, but this is a drywall hatchet combination tool thingy. I had both. Had to have a lot of tools. We have a lot of tools around here for different things. I think and I hope coming up here in the next couple days, wish me luck, but um, I'm either going to take a little chainsaw or a sawzall because I'm not doing it by hand, but I got some trimming to do. Maybe I can save my cranberry bush if I get out there. I didn't see any leaves on it, but if I get in there and check, I have this Russian olive they're wild around here, and it's just choking the life right out of it. So, and a couple other bad things, but it's like, well, maybe I can save it. Wish me luck. I had another one and I moved it. I had to move both of them. I had one on each side of the shed that we tore down. And anyway, we do have the wild cranberries around here, but these were actually propagated to be a bigger berry. It's an American cranberry still, but it was a hybrid, you know, and they were doing well, and I had to move them. One died. I'm gonna get this uploaded. I'm just saying hello pretty much. I think, I don't mean to be so downtrodden. It's just I'm really sick to death of people pretending that they're all godly and they're really about as cold-hearted as they come. Worse than the Satanists that I have mingled with, trying to show them that the light of Christ isn't in their belief system any more than it is in the ones that profess a religion. Uh, yeah, I guess so. Maybe I'm a minister that no longer has a church or a religion because everybody's fake as, and I can't stand it anymore. So maybe you feel the same way. Maybe you feel misplaced. You know, I sure do. So, okay, everybody, I appreciate you joining me. I'm sure I'll be back in better spirits. I wasn't in the worst, but yeah, anyway, I love you. Appreciate you. Have a really good night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.